What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome back to another edition on the Warpath. Warpath Wednesday, Chain of Command, whatever the ham sandwich y'all want to call it. But welcome back to the channel. You know what we do here. We talk Washington Commanders. We make sure our checks cash and we line them up, but we don't snort them. Either way, appreciate y'all coming back here as we get ready to preview the Green Bay Packers and all the other things that have happened since we took the field against the Chicago Bears. And y'all know good and well, I got to get somebody in here that we know, we love. We love to see him. He's fighting a good fight on his channel all the time with his good buddy, the DC man that's got that Giants blood in him. But we got the better half of Authentic in the Beard as I bring in my guy, Tim the Beard Stewart. What's up, Beard? How you feeling? The strongest beard in the fanhood, man. And the checks have cashed. They have cleared. They don't bounce like a 50-50 raffle. How you feeling, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. You know, I'm one of those people who was, like, we won the game. So, I'm riding high off a victory still. It was short-lived. As soon as, it's like we just can never have nothing good here.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, we won. And I'm like, all right, I don't care how it happened. I seen all the talk on the Twitter about, oh, that was the worst win I've ever seen in my life. And
I'll take it.
You shouldn't be celebrating your win. Now, I was talking about this the other day. I said, tell that to Brian Robinson. My man, scores his first touchdown in this game, and gets a win. This is just coming off of getting shot, and you want to tell him don't celebrate the win? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I'm still riding high, but then obviously the news came out about Carson Wentz. So it was like, one little body shot, and then, the whole Dan Snyder thing, which is like weird because it's a body shot, right? But it's like, Is it a good body shot? You know what I'm saying? You don't really know, but it's just so much going on, here in Washington, obviously, with everything. And it's difficult to kind of ride the high part of the wave when everything else around the victory is crashing down. So, but, I always try to stay positive and focus on, what we can and what we more so than what we can't do. And right now, like there's a lot of stuff that's out of our control as fans. So, I just try to do my best to kind of, root my guys on and try to put together some sort of roadmap for another victory this week coming up against Green Bay, which is, I mean, we're going to talk about it, but it's just, I was breaking it down, like, breaking down the numbers and looking into the matchup. And Green Bay
very similar.
It's a very interesting team. Like, you kind of look at it, like some of the numbers, and you're just kind of like shocked, but nonetheless, they still have a ton of talent in Green Bay. They have a good coach, young coach. Obviously, we are familiar with him, like most of the good young coaches in the National Football League. But it's going to be a good matchup on paper. Obviously, we never know what's going to happen when Washington takes the field. But there's some interesting, little nuggets I brought along for tonight's show, man. And obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on outside of the football field, But it's weird, man. There's a lot of people out there who put that Heineke voodoo. It's done come to life, and now we got 4 to 6 weeks, I guess, of Taylor Heineke, depending upon what happens with him, because we know how this quarterback sort of domino rally thing can happen here in Washington. I've personally seen Josh Johnson play in person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh gosh,
and that wasn't even the game he started. It was a game he should have started, but
against the Giants,
exactly. But they started Mark Sanchez, which was a horrible mistake. So. But yeah, I'm excited, man. We talk about this all the time on Authentic in the Beard, and it's like, for whatever team it is that you root for, it's like, bad Washington football is better than no Washington football. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's what I feel right there with you, bro. I mean, you look at it, and I feel like younger guys like us,
I like how you said that, though. Younger guys. All right, I like that.
Younger guys
you
like
gotta
us.
tell my wife that,
I mean, you got a few years on me, but you know, I mean, we haven't seen anything. We haven't been able to bask in the ambience of what a lot of folks talk about, like a lot of these old fans, and yet and still we hang around. I mean, I know fans that haven't seen a playoff win or can't remember a playoff win. I've seen a couple, but and I think it's a loyalty thing. I mean, my parents raised me. It's like you pick one, you stick with it, and throughout whatever malfeasancy the ownership has, and whatever convolutedness that has been done in the front office and all this good stuff. I mean, we sit here and we fight the good fight every time. I said the one thing they might know, I might pick a terrible team, but you ain't gonna question my loyalty day in and day out. And I ride and die with this team all the time. And the body punches, as you said, the body blows, they just keep on coming. We can't sulk in a win. It's like a 48 hour. It got started on that Thursday. ESPN had this report coming out talking about Dan Snyder says he's got dirt on the owners. The NFL is a mafia. I don't disagree with that. We could have whatever you want to say, but they're gonna stab each other in the back at the end of the day. And we saw that. We saw that on Monday. Of course, we got the Tyrone Biggums of the NFL and Booger Sugar Jim Irsay talking about, well, that's not how we do it. That's not how we do everything. We did, and I'm like, I said, Jim, you really getting bold out here. and I guess my first question to you is, do you think this was did he just do this out on his own? Because I feel like there's got to be guys in that room. It's got to be people amongst the ownership that are like, yeah, this can't stand. So we got to get the craziest dude out there to make a comment about it. What do you think about that?
I mean, that makes complete sense. It's like everything that Daniel Snyder said is probably true. Let's be perfectly honest. Okay. And I mean, Jerry Jones has a suit, a case on him right now.
Yeah.
That's been ongoing for 2 years that nobody's talked about, like that's going on. It's just, listen, when you deal with in the industry, in a work environment with those sort of people, listen, I don't got money, right? I ain't come from money, but I sure know people that got money, and I know what the people that got money be getting into. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can see how there can be a bunch of dirt out there. I mean, just think about it. You get a bunch of billionaires together in a room. I mean, it's like, the purge, basically. Like, so it's just, you gotta, I'm sure there's the dirt is out there, right? And then it's just like, for me, it was really interesting because do you take because it's coming out of Irsay's mouth, right? Like, how much of it do you take serious, right? Nonetheless, like, it doesn't really matter who said it. The fact that somebody came out and said it publicly is like, it opens your eyes at least. You know what I'm saying? And before that even happened, the story that I think kind of got pushed under the rug a little bit because of Irsay was the fact that Al Michaels said it live on national television.
Yes.
Like, that was huge.
Yeah.
Like, I think that kind of opened the door up. And when the way that it all goes down, it almost makes it feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like planned. Okay. I'm sure some people told, the story doesn't come out like that without all the sides getting notified that story is going to be coming out. Right. Somebody's telling somebody, hey, look, this story is about to drop. So then bam, they know that story is dropping. The story drops. And then Al Michaels the same night says that on national television. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. And then obviously after that, you had the Irsay thing. I mean, it opens your eyes. But for me, it's just like, we've been in this position how many times? You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, this is it. This is the one. You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. Dan Snyder's going to sell the team, this and that. And it never happens. So it's like, for me, like, this is definitely a completely different situation because of the fact that it is being talked about publicly on national television and by a owner himself, So, and I mean, could he just the other thing is, okay, so you say, could he just be saying that and like it's him being, going on a crazy rant, whatever, like he's probably, had a little bit too much party in him. He's like, let me just go ahead and just run my mouth. But didn't nobody else come out and disregard what he said?
Yeah.
So
Like
like there
nobody
was
said it's a farce. Yeah.
so like for me, it's just like, I don't necessarily always just look at the actual action. I look at like all the little things around it. The what happened before, what happened after, like, the reaction, the counter punches, and there was none of that. So for me, it's like, but obviously now it's just and then the other thing that was crazy was a story that came out where they said that the NFL leaked information on the witnesses to Dan
Yeah.
Snyder.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I mean, that's just another little body blow right there. But it's just, it's a really messed up situation. And what's really weird to me is because I got my ear and my eyes to Twitter, right?
Right.
And I don't,
gosh.
not a lot of people, know I'm not necessarily big on Twitter at all. Not a lot of people, know who I am. But I be in there. I got my ears to the street, and it'd be weird. Facebook groups too. The Washington Facebook groups, man. I be telling people crazy, but like I seen some people coming to the defense
I saw it on
of
Some of my
Daniel
friends.
Snyder,
Yep.
and I'm like, and like, listen, I don't know the dude personally, so I'm not one to judge nobody that I don't know
Right.
personally. I don't even judge people I know personally. That's not, as I say this all the time, as the late great philosopher Tupac once said. He said, only God can judge me.
That's right.
So it's like, I'm not out here to be judging people, but like, for me, I look at it as a business standpoint, because as a fan, I'm invested in this team. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I look at it as a business to a certain extent. And Daniel Snyder's been bad for business. For not just for the National Football League, but for here in Washington. Sure, he does good things. Every bad person does good things. That's what they do so that they can still do bad things. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, then it's like, oh, and that's why I told people from the jump, I'm like, man, it's also funny that it's Irsay that said it.
Right.
Because, I've been busting people's chops all season. Like, I don't understand why y'all trolling the Colts for. Like, what are y'all, like, for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who cares what he said about Carson Wentz and this and that? I mean, like, look, it might be they swindled us. I'm sure, they swindled us a little bit.
They fleeced us.
They fleeced us a little bit, but to me, it's just like, it's all very weird. It's all very fishy. But in the end of the day, until something happens,
it's all
nothing.
speculation. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. And I said this too the other day. I said, look, and Daniel Snyder ain't strapping up the boots. He ain't putting on the helmet. So I don't really care. I'm here to talk. I'm here to worry about what's about to happen on Sunday.
That's right. I hear you.
On the field on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because God knows when I wake up getting ready to do my 11 o'clock a.m. show on Authentic in the Beard, who knows
Breaking
what
news.
ESPN story going to be out? Because they just seem to happen to drop these at these times. I'm getting up out of bed, getting ready to get in the shower. I look at my phone. I'm like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, here we go again. Kevin Sheehan kind of puts it in the best scene. It's like in The Office where they had like so many days without an accident, and it's just like every time we got to go right back down. The counter has to go back down to zero, and I see, I joke with a lot of things I do on Twitter is satirical. Like,
sure.
and y'all know, like I've been calling Jim Irsay Booger Sugar since the Carson Wentz trade. And I believe this is one of my quotes. I say you will find a steady hand in the strangest places. You just do. And it's the same thing with a guiding light too. And I tweeted Chris Russell. I said, an evil angel and a righteous devil. That's all. Sometimes that's what you need in these situations. And my God, if we can find some way, levy this, I just want a smoking gun. That's all I want. If you can give me proof, I start to believe. That's all I need. I need to see it. I'm tired of speculation because we get to too many. But the people who defend Dan Snyder, see, they're clever. They're clever. They attack the attacker's character and validity. And it's good people who do that. It's some people I consider friends. colleagues in the Twitter sphere and in the podcasting world, and even on Facebook, I consider, and it's just like, guys, really? I'm like, come on now. But anyway, we got some giant. We got your boy up in here. We got your boy up in here. Hey, shout out to Authentic and hey man, Giants. I said it here early on in the season. I said the Giants were not going to be as bad as people thought they were going to be. I like Dayball. I like the energy. Whatever energy he is pouring into Daniel Jones and then Wink Martindale, what he's doing with this defense, man, they legit. Giants is legit.
Yeah,
it's
a good team, man. That's like the key word there is team. I mean, they got a nice, everybody does their role, and it's like it's. I talk about this when I talk about Philadelphia and New York and even Dallas to a certain extent, where they do everything that Washington doesn't do. And I mean, it shows in the outcome. Yeah. I mean, all aspects of the game, and it shows in the record column. So it's like, it's tough to be at the bottom, because everybody is so close at the top. You know what I'm saying? You got 6-0, 5-1, 4-2, and then us 2-4. So this is a big game for us. It's going to be tough, obviously, because Green Bay just lost to the Giants, which doesn't look as bad now because I think, and like you just said, a lot of people recognize the Giants as a good team. And I think it was more nationally that people were like, oh, they're, the worst 4-1 team or the luckiest 4-1 team. But now that they've beaten the Packers and the Ravens back to back, but the Packers lost to the Giants and then lost to the Jets, which I guess it's not as crazy because it's not like Tampa Bay losing to the Steelers who are 1-4 or the Chiefs losing to the Colts. It's a little bit different, but still, like I think that's the first time they lost back-to-back games in Matt LaFleur's coaching career, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're correct. If you want to conclude probably the playoff game that they lost and losing at the Vikings as the bookends to last season, this season, I mean, you could include that as well. But no, I mean, yeah, Giants are making stuff happen and they hang in there. And you always say, right, you try to win. If you're a bad team, there's always room. You get a fourth place schedule, and then you get an opportunity to back into some games and win. The Giants are already hitting that stride right now this year. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. They got to play Dallas again. They got to play us twice, and they have to play Philadelphia twice. So, good luck down the stretch. I believe they can make some noise. And then we're also in the oh gosh, we're playing, and you already beat the Titans, who's a good team, and you still have a lot of that NFC South. Excuse me, not NFC South, but yeah, AFC South. You got the AFC South to play. So kudos to those boys. Kudos to those fellas. And you already beat one of the perennial contenders in the AFC in Baltimore as that one random AFC game, but. That's enough of the Giants' love for now. Bluegrass Picker, one of your guys up in here as well too, says, "What's up, Tim?" My guys, Donald Glover's up in here, Don Wilson, and snort what? Powdered donuts. That's what we're gonna snort, or that's what Jim Irsay does. Anyway, allegedly, we don't want to get sued here. So Don Glover, he's one of my favorite people on here, one of the loyal come and goers here on the channel. And we have hope again. In Heineke, we hope. I feel like, I don't know how you feel about that. I feel like people were wishing for this. I feel like people.
Absolutely.
Like they were wishing, not for more of this to happen, but Carson Wentz to get hurt before this to happen. Like that's, I'm like, I said, y'all, like I had comments in here during the Thursday night stream. I just wish Carson would get hurt so we can see Heineke now.
It's messed up. You can't ever wish that upon nobody. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is too, is like he played with that finger, man. He threw that dart right after the finger.
Yeah.
To Samuel that he dropped.
Yeah. And he threw a block too.
Yeah, oh
He's
man,
throwing
that was
blocks
awesome.
out there.
And it wasn't no just block like
Right.
on a DB or
Exactly.
something.
He
I was
threw
on
his
Roquan
chest in him,
Smith.
baptized him. That's what a lot of people want here in Washington. And he threw his body out there. But for what it's worth, he got a surgery Monday. They say he's going to start. He started rehab, I think the next day. So hopefully 4 to 6 weeks, we'll see where he's at. But this does mean also a good thing for Washington. And you look at grand scheme of things, I don't think he'll hit the 70% snap count.
Yeah, I don't think he will either. There's a possibility. I mean, I've heard rumblings that you won't see him.
I believe it.
Play another snap again.
I believe it. I believe it. And now we go over to Taylor Heineke last year, 7-9 as a starter. He missed that one game against Philadelphia, and he didn't start because of Ryan Fitzpatrick. But 3,400 yards, 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. I think he fumbled the ball a little bit too last season, multiple times, but only threw for over 300 yards
once.
Yeah.
And that was in the first game, right?
Against the Giants. Yeah, it's his first start against the Giants. Threw a killer interception, I thought, in that game. And I think he turned the arm strength isn't there either. Like he's got moxie, and I don't nobody can take that away from Taylor, but I want us to have a sense of reality to this because they always say, let's give the young guy a try. The damn guy's 30. He's 30. He's not a young guy. He's a journeyman in this league. He got his first time start. He was the first time starter last year, full-time starter. But, I mean, what? So give me some play. Because I feel like we went down. I've sent us down the negative path. Give me some positives about Taylor Heineke.
Positives?
Oh, crap. Here we go. Tim, this is why I had you all here, bro. Come on now. This is an exercise.
He's a starting quarterback. That's a positive for him. You know, it's I mean, he's a gamer, right? Like, but I feel like that's something that you say to, like your kids in high school if you're a coach, go be a gamer.
He's got a VHSL arm. We say that all the time on here.
Listen, he's a gamer, right? And he is elusive, I guess you could say. He's not necessarily mobile. He's not Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson or even Daniel Jones, but he does have moxie, I guess. But this is not a movie. This is not college football. This is not high school football. This is the NFL. Moxie can only take you so far. Now, his numbers are pedestrian. They're good. You know what I'm saying? But, it doesn't really matter. To me, it don't matter who playing quarterback. If Scott Turner's calling the plays, it don't matter.
That's true. That is a fact, which I don't know if you heard this during the pregame show last week. They said Ryan Fitzpatrick was saying, well, it's a cookie cutter offense and you can't make any changes or anything like that, which I find that kind of hard to believe because I was at the Giants game when we played on Thursday night last year and Heineke was making checks. I don't think if you remember they were marching towards the tunnel. I think it was like in the second quarter or something. Heineke makes a check where it looks like it's a pass play, checks it, and J.D. McKissick runs it into the end zone for a touchdown out of the gun. So I'm like, guys, I said, I don't really know. And Scott Turner's been a lot of places with Taylor Heineke. He was with him in Minnesota, Carolina, down in Washington. So I think if Scott trusts anybody, he's Scott Turner's Colt McCoy. That's exactly what he is.
100%.
And I mean, we saw what Colt McCoy was. He had moxie, had bad shoulder. He could win your A game, but that was it. And didn't win one after that Dallas game. Oh God, that's 8 years ago. Coming up this in a couple of weeks. But I look at Taylor and I think of the Green Bay game and he gets ready. it's a vindication game for him because all he has seen since last season, him falling short, not stretching, not extending the play. He's sliding before the goal line, kind of like in the vein of the Tampa Bay game in the playoffs.
That's, to me, that's the thing that's funny.
It's his vindication game.
It's like, you know, everybody who, and listen, obviously I am going to come off as a Heineke hater. Shout out Paulie. You know what I'm saying?
Don't give him any credit. Don't. But Paulie, I appreciate you. Thank you for paying your billable hours. We appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat, and I will wear that Heineke hate. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, go ahead.
It's not like I'm a Heineke hater. You know, the Heineke hive made me a Heineke hater.
Yes,
that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like the whole thing, like, you know, the talk up like he's a franchise quarterback and he's the future and this and that. Like, that's kind of what kind of molded my dislike for Heineke's play. But he's my quarterback now, so I will be 100,000,000,000% behind Heineke, and I hope he does well, because if he does well, we win football games, right?
Exactly.
And that's what I'm all about. You know, I'm all about winning football games. And the thing is like, people who are Heineke, the Heineke hive is what I like to call them, right?
Oh, God. Heineke herpes.
They will show you that clip of him in the Tampa Bay game, right? But
did he win the game?
Not even that. But they won't show you the clip you're talking about just now. And that was the Green Bay game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a Green Bay game. He he slid short of the goal line on 4th and goal.
And then you have Carson Wentz in the Tennessee one, and they're like, you know, on the second down where it kind of looked like there was an opening there. They were like, oh, well, Taylor Heineke would have just ran it right in. And I'm like, did you guys forget about the Green Bay game last year? Because I don't know if that's true, you know, but like, the other thing too is like, you know, like whenever I talk about Taylor Heineke, I feel like I can hear Sabah in the back of my head.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Lord.
But she, you know, this is the thing.
She regained her youth this week. I swear she did.
I'll tell you, the other thing is that like people want to, they always make the excuses for the people that they like, but not for the people that they don't like. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, he didn't have anybody to throw to last year, or, you know, he didn't have the same weapons. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. I understand that, right? He was also not going to have the same offensive line he had.
No.
This right now when he's coming into this game. This is probably, I'm pretty sure this is going to be our 7th different starting offensive line than it is with the other, you know, the other games. So 7 offensive lines in 7 games.
Yeah. Yeah, there's hasn't been a perfect combination. Thank God we could get the ball off the turf this week with the center though. But you know, I'm kind of like with you in the situation of Heineke. Like, I'm not a Heineke fan. Like, I don't see the hype of Heineke, but I know what he can add to the offense. Mm-hmm. I know you're gonna add somebody who's gonna get out of the pocket. A guy with a lackluster arm. Those weapons aren't going to be here, like you said. Those weapons are going to be premier. But he's got to, because he can get scatterbrained sometimes. And we saw, especially against good defenses, like we saw against Dallas, he got lit up like the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. You know, we look at the Dallas game when he's throwing balls, like he's trying to get to Terry. He couldn't get the ball to Terry, and it was picked off because he's throwing it like beside him, not in front of him. And that's a knock on him, but he just can't do that. His ability, we don't see that. We don't see him out. But like you said, he's my quarterback right now. Number 4 is my quarterback, and I want number 4 to succeed.
Yeah,
I want, at the end of the day, if I'm wrong about him, hey, we're gonna come on here and say we was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong. I want to be wrong about him, but it's more like, guys, I don't know, but. Like I said, I think it's an interesting parallel though. The Green Bay game is because when we if you put a packet against Taylor Heineke, Exhibit A is the Green Bay game, and he had a hell of a throw to Taylor to Terry in that game. Like let's not erase that. But that rush that they show you is a drive that didn't end in any scores where he split the defense. Didn't end in anything. So I but hopefully he's learned stuff. I thought he looked and give him credit. He looked good in the preseason too against Kansas City.
That don't mean nothing to me.
That's true. You're right.
I don't pay no mind to that. So I mean, also Sam Howell looked great in the preseason too, but then coaching staff said he's not even close to being in the game. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see. And I see Authentic says, he likes to push my Heineke buttons. He says if Heineke comes out with a winning record, sort of like Cooper Rush, do you bring back Wentz? There's no way.
Yeah, you can't.
They would eat Ron. If Heineke goes. Well, let's see if we determine what a winning record is. Let's say Carson Wentz is out 6 weeks.
4-2.
4-2.
I give him 4-2.
3-3. You bring it back. It depends on how they win the games
and how they lose them. Like if we get mollywopped in games, yeah, I think you need to bring. I really still would bring Wentz in. If we get mollywopped and it's over with, I'd get Sam Howell ready. Because, you have a lot of folks say, well, we don't want to put him in front of that offense. We don't want to put him in front of that offense line. But to that argument, too, is he's got these weapons. You got to throw them out there. Because probably if we're that bad, we're going to be picking in the top 5. And there's good quarterbacks out there. Stroud, Young, Levis might be a guy that you can look at coming out of Kentucky. I'm not a big fan of him, but maybe somehow he starts working out there in Kentucky once he's healthy. But you've got quarterbacks in this draft that you can go to. So you got to see what you have with Sam Howell. But yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz is nowhere near. And it's kind of like what Ron said. Dak's been in the system for a long time. Well, you know what you have with Dak. You know what Dak does for your offense. Y'all won game. Dallas won. Not, I know not y'all. Authentic, of course, but they won games with Dak. We only won 2 games with Carson Wentz, and he's been here for a Diet Coke. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen. He says that if Heineke goes 4-2, 3-3.
Yeah,
I still, if he's the reason why they won those 4 games and not the reason why they lost those 2 games. I don't think you bring Wentz back. I just, and like you said, 0 dead cap hit next year. I mean, there's no way they bring him back, next year. He at the way that this has happened, there's no way they could bring him back next year. And then
and here you go too. Carson Wentz, I'm gonna put it right here, right now. Y'all can put me on the record. Carson Wentz will not take a snap for the Washington Commanders for the duration of the 2022 season. And it's because they're petty and they will spite Jim Irsay, who we play next week.
That's going to be an interesting little
That is going to be an interesting game. What's up?
That sucks too that Carson Wentz can't be there for that, man.
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see him against Irsay, but it is what it is though. That's the game. What's up, Dubs? Obey the Lord, everyone says, man, bro, a Washington Commanders check bounce. Everything going wrong with my team this year. Bro, we talked about it, man. I guess they got no money. That's why we can't fire Ron Rivera. We ain't got money to pay coaches. So think about that, y'all. Ron's come back next year. Gary Blum said, and Gary, we kind of talked about this earlier too. The 19-play drive, he led that drive downfield. Cannot take that away from him. I think that was a masterful job, and that is peak Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, but
that is peak.
That whole that win Gibson. And that whole stretch was all trust me. I remember it like it was yesterday because I'm a RTDB type of dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm a run the damn ball guy. I want to see them run the ball 40 times a game. They were running the ball between 30 and 40 times every single one of those victories during that 4-game win stretch. As soon as they stopped running the ball, they started losing games again. It's to me, it's like night and day. Like, I don't understand how I can see that and the coaching staff doesn't see that. That's what worries me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just run the ball.
Yeah, run the damn ball. and let's say Heineke goes 4-12. I think in some of those games that's against the Giants too. So Heineke beats the Giants again.
Is it? Is it 6? No.
No, because it's December. Yeah, it'll be
Maybe.
mid-December.
December 4th is the first Giants game, I think.
That's I think we get. So Heineke beats the Giants. Huh. I like it. I like it a lot. Then we got that bye week sandwich in there. Come home. It's a Giants ass kicking sandwich. I love it. Chill. He said, chill. Really, it's about Turner running the ball so Heineke can manage the game. Complimentary football. Paulie will defend his man from ODU all the way. But I mean, he's right though. You got to run the ball, which something I don't know what this team doesn't see, like not to run the ball. Like, where is the team in offensive? Where is that team from week 1? Like, they don't even run the same plays that they ran in week 1. They don't even involve the same people who are pretty much healthy and on the field outside of Jahan Dotson. Like, I was at that game and I'm like, where's this motion in the backfield? Where are we running these guys out of pistol?
I mean, I was texting with Authentic. I was like, man, we was going crazy. We was like,
yes.
What is this offense? I mean, new formations, pre-snap motions. Curtis Samuel looked like he was, Cordell Stewart on steroids. And I'm just like, it just all disappeared.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate this super chat too, Paulie. Yeah, man, it was crazy. I was just like, I said, like, what, like, and then you go to Detroit the next week, and this offense disappears. You don't, and now you playing contract now with Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson playing some of his best ball. He's not putting the ball on the carpet. People are like, well, he fumbles the ball all the time. He hasn't fumbled in the regular season. He fumbled in the preseason. Apparently, he's learned from it. Feed that dude. Feed that dude the right. What happened in the Giants game? I mean, in the Titans game when they gave the ball to him, right? I think he averaged about 10 yards per catch. Probably had about 3 or 4 yards per. No, because they didn't run the ball with him. So he had catch on that key drive to get him down there.
Yep.
And then also you look at against the
Bears,
Chicago.
On the
he had a whole damn
field
drive.
On that field goal drive, he had, I want to say it was 44 of the 63 yards on that drive with Antonio Gibson running and catching the ball.
Yep.
And it's, listen, I'm a huge Antonio Gibson guy, and it's nothing against Brian Robinson. It's just that, like, I never understood the down talking of Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson, top 5, top 10 running back in the National Football League his first few years in the NFL. You can go look at the stats. You know what I'm saying? Like, the numbers don't lie. And then it's like, okay, did the fumbling become a little bit of a concern a little bit last year? It did. And I was a little bit, in denial, but it definitely was some truth to that. But in the end, the dude makes plays. It's so clear as day. All you got to do is just give him the rock. And you put him and Brian Robinson in the backfield at the same time.
We've been talking about that. Paulie, shout out Paulie. I said thank you for this $5. Appreciate
Run the wishbone.
Hell, they ran him like that foot. They ran that offset eye with him, and Robinson was the fullback in that situation.
I saw that. That was like I was like, that. Yeah. And they gave they gave it to Robinson, but still, it's. And then people will. It's the same thing with Taylor Heineke. It's like, okay, well, they always point out the good and they only point out the bad on Carson Wentz. The same thing with Antonio Gibson. They're like, oh, Antonio Gibson is, he hits the wrong holes. He doesn't run hard, or he runs too east-west, which none of that is true. And then you see Brian Robinson. What did Brian Robinson struggle with the most in that Chicago Bear game? Was finding the right hole. He was running into the back of people that entire game. He ran hard as hell, though, and nothing but love for Brian Robinson because he was a big part of why we won that game. But it's just...
And the run blocking's atrocious, too. Let's be real. The run blocking is atrocious
You got to
with
run on the
Norwell
outside because
yeah.
there's no interior. The interior offensive line is in shambles right now. But it's like Scott Turner thinks there's a rule against using two backs. Antonio Gibson touched the ball 3 times in the first half of that Chicago game. 3 touches the entire first half of that game.
And you bring this up too, and I thought about this, and when Paulie and I were here on the post game for the Titans, I said, why do you wait till the last minute to involve J.D. McKissick? Like, these guys all should be getting burned. Like, you've got weapons, you've got you've got 2 of the best receiving backs in the league, and then you've got Brian Robinson, who, if you give him an opportunity, you hit him with a little lightning, then thunder right down the throat. But it just seems like it's overcomplicated for Scott Turner to get that, to script him into that. Like, I don't get it. The offensive minds, the good offensive minds in the world are going to make it to where everybody eats, especially your running backs.
You want to know what's crazy? I'll give you a stat that's crazy. That'll blow your mind. Considering that we have all those people, some people say, oh, there might not be enough plays, there might not be enough balls to go around, or, something like that. Washington has had the most drives of any single team in the National Football League this year.
I believe it.
Nobody has more drives than the Washington football team.
Yep.
74 drives. Leads the National Football League. But yet, we can't score points. We can't, we can't find a way to use all of our players. And even though we have the most plays, there's some guys that can get 3 running backs, 10+ touches in a game, no problem. It's crazy.
Don't want to pay Gibby. That's what Paulie said. Shout out, Paulie. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Adding to those bill of buys. Yeah, it just blows my mind that it's like, I don't know if it's out of pure ignorance or they're oblivious to the situation, but Scott Turner not using his weapons. Can you put a quarterback under center every once in a while? You don't need to run. I never understood goal-to-goal situation. Let's run it out of the gun. Let's start 4 yards back, and let's see if we can get the 1 yard we need to get.
Crazy.
I just don't get it. And I said, oh, who was it? I think it was Sam Fortier. And I said he should have his degree from Syracuse burned and revoked for saying that. He's like, I think he's an up-and-coming offensive coordinator, or he's an underrated offensive mind in the league.
People thought that, though.
No, he said that this week. He said that a couple weeks ago. He said that a couple weeks ago. Hand to God, he was talking to Lou Holder. Shout out to Holder's Hangout. Y'all go subscribe to him. And I said, what? Like, what? You're at the games. Clearly, you're not seeing the same thing I'm seeing. I see high schools run more efficient offenses.
Yeah, and then, you got Alex Smith, Ryan Fitzpatrick calling you out. It's not just like, random people. It's people that played under your system, your offense.
Yeah.
It's just, I think the weirdest part about it is seeing the way that they came out in that first drive. It was like, oh man, we got a quarterback. Curtis Samuel's healthy. This offense looks crazy. I was like, yes, we're here. We're here. I felt like Daniel Snyder when he said, we got a quarterback. And here we are a few weeks later, 2-4, looking at Taylor Heineke playing the next 4 to 6 weeks.
He's like, I'm back. He's like, honey, I'm home. And that's Taylor for you.
You know what he said, though? He said, I'm a different quarterback than I was last year.
I hope so. I hope he is. Like I said, I like, and it was against the 2s and 3s. I like how he responded against Kansas City. I like how he went out there. He played with no fear. He was slinging the ball. I think he had he threw a nice ball to Cam Sims, who looked like he might have been concussed on that play at the time. So hopefully he's learned, he's improved, and then maybe 4 weeks from now we'd be like Carson who. That hopefully that's where we're at.
I would want nothing more than for Taylor Heine to come out here like Tom Brady after Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be great. We're still going to draft a quarterback next year.
Yeah, oh yeah. It'd be more like Tommy Maddox replacing Cordell Stewart. Cordell
Man,
Stewart.
I forgot about Tommy Maddox.
He's our Tommy Maddox right now. You think about it. XFL quarterback. Had to go to XFL, didn't have a great success in the NFL. Tommy Maddox was in the NFL, went to the XFL, landed with Pittsburgh, put together some good years. Does that mean we'll draft our Ben Roethlisberger in a couple years? There you go. Parallels, man. Parallels. It's all these parallels. Washington, please pay Payne or trade him back. Yeah, talk to me about we're gonna get in the Packers game here, man. DeRon Payne, man. I mean, I know DeRon Payne. I know DeRon Payne was a force. We saw it in 2000. We saw it in 2020 that the guy is a force. He led the team, and I think he tied for the lead in sacks with the interior lineman. Was a disruptor, and he was. But now him, John Allen, Dynamite 1 and Dynamite 2 right now. We got to pay this guy if we got money. Hopefully the checks don't bounce, or we can sign another debt waiver.
Listen, but this is the big thing though too. Now is if you want to pay him, does he want to take your money?
That's true.
I'm not sure if he's a restricted or unrestricted.
He'd be unrestricted.
I'm pretty sure that that now it's about does he want to come back?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you? Because if somebody wants to come back, you can probably work a better contract with them too. You know what I'm saying? But if not, then that's a bridge that you might have burnt early on in this off season, moving into the season. But I mean, listen, it's difficult because everybody wants to hate on Payne and Allen and Sweat and Chase Young. More so Chase Young and Montez Sweat. They seem to catch a little bit more of the heat for being a first round pick and not necessarily producing, unlike Jonathan Allen and DeRon Payne, because but they are having a great year this year, and I'm a big Montez Sweat guy. He's going to be a guy that you're going to have to pay too, and then we still got to wait and see how Chase Young looks if he comes back this year. I'm starting to get this weird feeling that Chase Young might not come back this year.
Yeah, it's kind of getting weird. And, I thought to the point, too, people were like, well, if we're not winning, Chase Young, he should just pack it up for the season and come back next year. Me, I'm not like that.
Yeah,
because you haven't shown me much of anything. You had a terrible sophomore slumping season. I know you were the rookie of the year in 2020, but still, I've got to see more. I know we can throw the generational talent argument out the door. I need to see, can you be Clowney for me? That's what I need. Can you be DeMario Williams for me? That's what I'm looking at now. Can you be a guy who's consistent, can put 9 to 10 sacks together a year? Can you do that? And maybe an anomaly year where you have 15 or something like that.
I mean, I'm a big Chase Young guy. So
yeah, I like Chase. Chase, but we can have this conversation about, we could use the B word. The B word conversation is coming.
See, year. You ain't never going to hear that word out my mouth, because I hate, to me, as a bust is just, it's not as applicable as some people like to think that it is, but I in the same sense, I do agree that we need to see more. And trust me, Chase Young wants to play football. And I think that, I just think his knee might not be there yet. I think he's meeting with Dr. Andrews this week. And then that's going to give a little bit more insight into his possible return over the next 3 weeks. I was just about ready to say what Authentic said, how they were saying that about Saquon last year, because it's a very similar sort of situation.
Right.
Saquon comes out, has that monster year, gets hurt. Everybody wants to say he's a bust and this and that, and then he had the injury, and then, he look at him now. And then obviously last year they were probably saying the same thing about how people are saying Chase Young right now should be, thinking about not playing because of how bad the team is. I mean, They were 2-4. 21 out of the 32 teams in the National Football League have either 2 or 3 wins. So it's not that serious yet. So we're just going to, take it, 1 week at a time, and we'll see how Chase heals up. But I would not be surprised if his knee doesn't allow him to play.
Yeah. If he can go, I want to see him. I want to see him. Yeah.
I think if he can go, he'll play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's hope. Let's just hope, because I think Montez is eating. I think he ate against lesser competition the last 2 games, and Tyler Lewan was not in Tennessee, and then the Chicago's offense line is atrocious. So I think you got an opportunity here against Green Bay. Finally, supposed to be previewing Green Bay. We get into it. The Green Bay Packers come to town. Aaron Rodgers, who in the regular season has struggled, let's be honest, at FedEx Field, only playing there twice, played a playoff game 3 times, lost in 2010, lost in 2016 on national television. The Packers 3-3, 3 really ugly losses. I guess we could say they lost week 1 against Minnesota, then won 3 straight, and then lost these last 2 games against the Giants over there across the pond. And then the Jets and Robert Saleh came out and baptized them boys, as they have been beat up by the boys from New York in back-to-back weeks. Some of the interesting things that I saw about them, their turnover differential is similar to ours. They've only got 1. They are -4. We're -5 in that turnover differential. I think on third down, we're very similar to them on defense.
Green Bay's got the best third down defense in the National Football League.
We've got the 3rd best.
And the 7th worst offensive third down conversion.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's the big matchup right there.
Mm-hmm.
Washington is 7th worst in third down conversions, going against Green Bay, who's number 1 defensively. I want to say they're only allowing, it's an insane 26.6% third down conversion percentage. That's insane. Really good defensive football. And what's really interesting is obviously Washington's been horrible on third down the last 3 games. You know how many third downs we've converted in total the last 3 games?
Give me a nugget. Give me the nugget.
8. We're 8 for 37 on third down in the last 3 games. But we got Taylor Heineke.
No respect to Rodney Dangerfield. Shout out to everybody who bona fide picker, Don Glover. We won't talk about your boy like that. I mean, my goodness, that is that third down. 26, 35 and a half pretty much percentage. And then you look at Green Bay's at 27 on third down defense. The defense good. Joe Barry, where the hell is it? Where was this Joe Barry at about 5-6 years ago?
Hey man, you know how it is. Once you leave Washington, and you get a little bit better. That's how it is.
I mean, Joe Barry going from 0-16 in Detroit to pissing on himself in Washington to now he is finally. I think in the preseason he was like a top 5 defensive mind in the league according to Pro Football Focus. I'm like, where is this guy? I said, who is this cat? And of course, they've got our old friend over there, Preston Smith, who found new life, who was good here in Washington, but got better.
He was misused here, like most people are.
That's true. Yeah, put his hand in the dirt instead of moving him all around. But they play. I think they're playing both ways, don't they? Up and down.
Yeah, I mean they move him around. Like most good defenses have guys that they can move around. Look at Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons played safety.
Chess piece.
Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like it's that's what you got to do. Like, and I think that's one of the biggest problems here in Washington is the coaching staff is just stubborn. They don't. And I think that's one of the things that Ryan Fitzpatrick said. It's like they don't use the players like, they don't utilize the players' strengths. They just
They don't
expect the
scheme them up.
players to do what they're told, and it's supposed to work. But we've obviously seen that's not working. And I mean, with Green Bay too, Taylor Heineke is going to be on the run. There's no question about it, because we already know the offensive line banged up, hasn't been performing. Okay, we'll see. Maybe this is lucky number 7. 7 different starting offensive line in 7 weeks. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is a lucky one. But Green Bay blitzes a lot. They blitz a lot. I want to say that they are their 4th highest blitz percentage in the National Football League. So they blitz the fourth most of any team in the National Football League.
And
so
we're up there too on defense as well. Our blitz, we're up there with them, I think, right? Like top 5.
I love Jamin Davis, Benjamin St. Juste, Cameron Curl. Using those guys, those are our 3 best blitzers right there. I think those guys, they need to use Jamin Davis like how Dallas uses Micah Parsons.
That, bro. I'm glad you're on it, because we say this all the time. Use that man as a chess piece. Use him all around. Like, hey, I don't think you can put him out in the secondary thing, but anywhere in that front 7, run him, run him off the edge. He shows that. I mean, he shows that aggression. He shows that he has improved. Absolutely. As a guy from last year, because he's not thinking as much.
He had a rough game in Chicago, but most of that defense did. That was a poor showcase of tackling in that game.
Bobby McCain. I just hope we can just put 11 players on the field.
Two times.
Pre-snap. It's not like they were sending subs out there. That's what gets me. I'm like, I don't see high schools. I'm at a high school football game every week. I don't see high schools doing that. And if I do, you know what they do? The coaches call a timeout. And they have nowhere near this advanced technology and as many coaches as they have on the Washington Commanders.
Oh, you want to know about penalties now? How about the penalties?
Talk to me about penalties.
How many penalties in the last 3 games? 27 penalties for 243 yards in the last 3 games.
Undisciplined. And that is coaching 101. And Ron will say, well, the players got to perform to this. And I'm like, I get tired of hearing Ron say that. It's not what the coaches are doing. It's what the players are. And the defense has improved, but it's that back end that has struggled. Paulie's favorite player, Bobby McCain, out there. Kendall Fuller. Like, Kendall Fuller got burned on a play where we had 12 men on the field.
Do you want to know how many yards Kendall Fuller is giving up per catch right now?
25.
20 yards per catch. Sixth worst in the NFL in the DB position.
Bro, it ain't good. It ain't good. That's awful. And then you got Bill Jackson. I don't even call him William Jackson. I call him Bill Jackson, who's trying to get out of this. Where he said he had a disc issue and he's not asking for a trade, but people saying he is asking for a trade. And I think he is a victim also of the square hole round peg.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
everybody
we want
knew that
you
from
to
the
do
beginning.
this.
He's a man corner, and they're playing him one on the play zone, which is a lot more difficult than a corner DB. I mean, a corner playing zone and moving to man is a lot easier than a man corner moving to play zone. So,
yeah, can't get right. That's what Paulie calls him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but we kind of flip over on the end. And I thought Rashad Wild Goose, I called him Cook Goose last week, going into this game, had a pretty good game. Now, granted, it was against the Bears, but he tightened up. He did tighten up.
I love Forrest. He made another big play in that Chicago game on the goal line too. But I mean, look, Washington's going to have their hands full here. I hate to say it, but a lot of this is going to fall on the shoulders of Taylor Heineke, which I think is good in a sense. As much as I dislike Taylor Heineke, you're basically going to go out there. It's going to be on you. More so if the coaching staff allows it to be on him. They have to run the ball. They have to run the ball. Like it's what makes it frustrating is that it's so easy. It's so simple to understand. Just run the damn ball.
Yep.
Use both your running backs. Use Curtis Samuel. Do whatever you got to do. Just run the ball. Ease Taylor Heineke in there. They're going to be blitzing a lot. Green Bay's pass defense is awesome. They've allowed the fewest passing yards in the National Football League thus far this year. They haven't even allowed 1,000 total passing yards yet this season. They're the only team who hasn't allowed at least 1,000 passing yards this year. So the pass defense is going to be there. Why are you going to don't put Taylor Heineke in a situation where he has to pass the ball. Don't force feed, us the fact that Taylor Heineke can throw the ball and that it's all a myth. He doesn't have a noodle arm and he's not, smoking Mary Jane. Because that's what Taylor Heineke to me has always been a pothead quarterback because he's always high and he's always late. Yep. That's what Taylor Heineke has been to me. You know what I'm saying? But so that's why I just want to see them run the ball, take it off. I mean, Paulie hits it right there, man. Some
screens. Yeah.
And we're probably going to see that a lot if they're smart. But Green Bay's run defense is not the best. Now, obviously, our defense is going to have to, on the back end, is going to have to be better because, as good as we've been defensively, we're still giving up the big plays.
Yep.
At least 5 20-yard plus plays a game.
And we saw it. I mean, the latest addition to that was against Chicago, Herbert, the bad angles, the tackles, and all this stuff. I mean, it's just bad. What do you think it is? Is it a scheme thing? Is it the players
There's a disconnect. It doesn't feel as bad right now because of how good our red zone defense has been. Our red zone defense has really saved, the outcome of the big play.
Mm.
As long as the big play doesn't go for a touchdown, you know what I'm saying? The defense has been very good in the red zone, which is what has made it not so eye-opening. But to people like us who watch every play of every game, you see it, and it's like it's like back-breaking because it tends to happen too, after we score a touchdown, right? So we'll score a touchdown and we'll get back into the game, and then 2 plays after the other team gets the ball, it's a 60-yard play, and they're right there in scoring position again. Or vice versa, where the defense will make a 4th down stop, and then the offense comes on the field and goes 3 and out with -4 total yards. So it has to be a combination of things going right. And you know what they say, sometimes you need a backup quarterback. It's not, there's no rhyme or reason to it. A backup quarterback sometimes provides a spark. So I'm hoping that, Taylor Heineke has his lighter on him from when he was, getting, being a pothead and being high and being late, and he still has that lighter and he could light a spark on this team. That's all we can hope for at this point. But I mean, it's all on the coaches in the end.
Yeah.
It is on the players because the players have to play, but the coaches have to do a better job. They have to do a better job.
And they got to stop making excuses like that. That's the one thing Ron got to call. It just one of Ron's best qualities is also his worst qualities, because he'll call out bullshit, but his bullshit is terrible. And I mean, you sit
He's
here
too
and
loyal. He's too loyal.
Yeah, these he literally, he's a hoe. He is loyal. Chris Brown ain't got it right with Ron. These hoes ain't loyal. Ron is a loyal hoe. That's exactly what he is at the end of the day. I'm interested to see how this offense is called, though, on Sunday. And I think it's going to tell you a lot about the decision into trading Carson Wentz on the down low. I do believe that he can say he looked at the tape when he was at Indianapolis, all this stuff. At the end of the day, I think how Taylor Heineke is played, how this offense is ran, it will show you who made the ultimate decision on bringing Carson Wentz here to Washington. I flip back on the defense side of the ball. Allen Lazard, leading receiver for him this year, leading touchdown receiver as well, 4 touchdowns. I think he's got like 230 some odd yards. I liked him coming out of college out of Iowa State. But Allen Lazard's not all-star talent though. 3-3 Green Bay Packers. They don't have the weapons like they've had in previous years. And now old Randall Cobb is hurt. Adams gone. I mean, is this this has got to be one of the reasons why they aren't. They're 3-3 right now.
It's definitely one of the reasons, but I think you got to put a lot of that on their coaching
mushroom
too.
Yeah,
because they have 2 outstanding running backs in Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, but they don't run the ball enough. And they're gonna get Sammy Watkins back, I think, for this game.
Sammy Watkins still in the NFL.
Yeah, man. Listen, Sammy Watkins is the type of guy that will burn Washington.
That's true. Oh, well, that's true. That's true. Let me stop. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, Dante Pettis was back there, putting work on us.
Yes. So, we took care of Mooney. We took care of Mooney, though.
He had 2 big plays in that game, Mooney did. So, I guess that's taken care of in Washington terms. But no, I'm actually a fan of Green Bay's playmakers. I think Robert Tonyan is a very underrated tight end.
Yeah.
I really like him. I love Dobbs and Watson. Watson hasn't been playing as much as Dobbs, but Watson's the type of guy that will sneak in on a play or two in a series. And, if you don't keep an eye on him, he'll burn you for the deep pass. And I love Dobbs' ability, versatility. That guy can catch balls all over the field. So I think they're underrated. I think it's good and bad that we're catching them now because it's bad because they've lost 2 games in a row, and there's nothing that I want to see less than, and that's a pissed off Aaron Rodgers, But at the same time, it's good that we're still catching them somewhat early because I think that eventually that offense is going to start to click with those young wide receivers. And you got to remember, Allen Lazard missed some time earlier in this year too, so he hasn't been there the whole season so far. So I think a lot of that, we talked about this right when we started. There's a lot of similarities between these 2 teams. There is some very, eye-popping differences, obviously. Quarterback position, third down, offense versus
coaching.
Defense, coaching. But to a certain extent, offensively, game plan-wise, there's been some questions as far as why they're not utilizing both A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. So it'll be an interesting matchup between these 2 teams. I mean, I have no business picking the Washington Commanders to win, right? But we'll see.
Let's see. So we play this game. I always play this game. Shout out to Kevin Sheehan because he gave me the idea for this when I was listening to him one day. Washington wins if. So give me three things that need to go right. Washington wins if they do this. Okay. I think we did this last year too when we previewed.
Washington wins if they run the ball more than 30 times.
Okay.
Washington wins if they win the turnover battle. Not only if they win a turnover battle, it has to be a 2. They have to win it. They can't be like 0 turnovers, Washington, 0 turnovers, Green Bay. They need to force some turnovers. So they have to win the turnover battle. They have to run the ball more than 30 times. And they have to have less than 5 penalties.
Well, the penalties thing, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I'll throw this one. I'll throw this out here for you. Washington wins if they get all 3 running backs involved in passing, running the ball. I think that's key right there. Washington wins if they sack Aaron Rodgers 4 times or more, and Washington wins if let's go with Washington wins if I want something that's actually believable, and I'm thinking of unbelievable things in my head. Washington wins if Terry McLaurin goes over 100 yards.
I thought you were going to talk about something that was possible.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
How many catches do you think Terry McLaurin has to have with Taylor Heineke as his quarterback to go over 100 yards?
He's going to have to have probably about 10. Hey, here we go. Washington
14.
wins if he gets 10, if he gets 14 targets. How about that? 14 targets. It's got to be like the Giants game. Like I said, I think this is a strange parallel to the Tampa Bay game last year. This is a game that we always talk about. Heineke truthers. I don't call me a hater. Call me a truther. This is one of the games we point to that it was all on him. He could have a very interesting parallel to that and go out here and succeed against the Green Bay Packers.
Let's hope so.
But this could also be Green Bay's get right game. We always seem like we're the team to get right on. I think Green Bay has, who do they have coming up on this game? So, I mean, it's easy. Green Bay could look past us too now. Green Bay's they're at Buffalo, at Detroit, Dallas, Tennessee, at Philadelphia. Then they wrap up against Chicago before they go on the bye week in week 14.
That's brutal. That's a stretch.
Yeah, so they got, and then that's a Sunday night game at Buffalo. Thursday night against the Titans. There's opportunity there, man. There's opportunity for them to overlook us, but they also are in a weird situation where they got to get right, where they've got to get some momentum going this streak, because the wheels could fall off very quickly for Green Bay,
especially with that schedule you just ran off. That's a pretty gauntlet of a schedule. That's got to be, I think, 3 of those 5 games are against first place teams.
Yeah,
Buffalo, Philadelphia, and Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think it's Tennessee first place, or is Indianapolis? Because Indianapolis has 3.
Maybe. I guess because of the bye. Because there's no. Tennessee's 3-2, and the Colts are 3-2.
They got 1.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. So they would be. So they got that half game on them, where that's where the tie will hurt you. Yeah, but my God, this schedule they have going into end in October and then in November, they are running a gauntlet. I'm on that
serious schedule, man. Buffalo Bills that's a team right there.
Yeah, they are. Still looking like the best team in the AFC right now, and had a hell of a win against New Orleans. And, we look forward to what we've got at Indianapolis, home for Minnesota. Minnesota, I don't know where they would fall on this. We literally could see Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins could be 6-1 returning to Washington. They host Arizona coming off the bye next week, on October 30th. So there's a chance we could see 7-1 Minnesota, or 6-1 Minnesota. Who else do we have in this situation? At Philadelphia, at Houston, Atlanta. It don't get pretty for us either. Atlanta's no pushover.
No.
Atlanta, I literally shout out to Sad. I see him in the comments. Atlanta, they could make some noise up in the NFC, especially with it being so top heavy.
Authentic picked them on our show on Sunday morning to beat San Francisco. I'm a big Mariota guy, so they play tough football.
They do.
Well coached. I like Arthur Smith. I think he does a good job with what he has over there right now. So shout out to the Falcons.
Shout out another guy who was on the staff in Washington, and his daddy was co-owner. So shout out FedEx. Shout out Arthur Smith, Fred Smith, all those guys doing things. Before I let you get out here, let's go around. Let's go around the league here real quick. I'm gonna pick 6 games for us.
Shout out to the Wizards. We won tonight, by the way. I had to throw that out there.
Like Charles Barkley says, why would I know anybody on the Pacers? But good job by the Wizards. Shout out Chuck.
They only won by 7 points. I'm sure they got a little dicey there at the end.
Oh God! I heard Kuz had like what 10 minutes and 6.
Yeah, Kuzma looked good.
10 points in 6 minutes.
Porzingis looked good too. So Monty Morris running the offense. I like it.
Get your guys. Get your bets in now for the Wizards.
This is a great time, man. These next 2.5 weeks, we get baseball, football, basketball, hockey, college football.
Oh,
I mean, it's awesome.
I can't wait for college basketball though. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's the best.
I love college basketball team?
I don't have a college basketball team, but if I leaned partially, I always tell people I lean towards Michigan as a team right now.
See, I'm a Maryland Terp guy. I grew up watching the Terps, but I'm not a Maryland football fan. I mean, I don't nothing against Maryland football. They just suck. Keep an eye on them. I remember I was at the game in College Park when Maryland beat Florida State. When Florida State was either 1, I think they were 1 or 3. That was one of the big fridge years. And I was down there on the field, man. That was a crazy, crazy experience. But no, I'm a big Notre Dame football fan. That's my squad.
Oh yeah, no wonder you and Paulie get along. Y'all Notre Dame fans. Shout out Vols, go Vols, roll Vols. We had that. I had to give my buddy, big Tennessee Vols fan. I had to speak this into existence. I wish I could do this with the Commanders, but I'm like, y'all gonna win this game. I said, not only will we pull the blanket out and cover, I said, damn it, give me the whole bid. I said, we buying the whole thing.
Money
Vols, go Vols, go Vols. Although your boy backed out and took the over, but
well, that hit though.
Yeah, the over hit in the third quarter. I was in there like, I said, I'm good. I can go home now. I ain't to watch the rest of this game. But let's take a look at some of these games here. I always like to go over our division games, which our guys aren't really playing. I don't think anybody in the division is playing outside of Dallas and us.
Giants got a game this week.
Yeah, they play Jacksonville. Okay, here we go. Detroit at Dallas. Preview. I don't know what the spread is on this game, but it looks like it's Cowboys -7, over under 48. This is all by ProFootballReference.com. Dallas hosting Detroit.
Dak's back, right?
I think Dak will be back in this one.
Dak will be back. I'll take Dallas to win. I'll take Detroit to cover, and I'll take the over.
I take Dallas to cover in that one. I take Dallas to cover in that, and I think it'd be over 48.5. But I think Dallas will score most of those. I think the Lions. I think they were fool's gold in that situation.
Now they've been banged up. I think Swift comes back this week. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's had off week to get healthy. I like that Lions offense. They got some weapons. Hawkinson, DJ Shark. Then they're gonna get the boy from Alabama back. I think too this week, right? Maybe.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. I thought I heard rumblings that he was coming back. Williams.
Jameson Williams. I ain't heard that one, but if they do, that could depend on how many on account he is. But I don't know. This one stinks right here. This line, I don't like this. Jacksonville at the Giants. Jaguars 2-4.
Are they still getting 3 points?
They're getting 3 points over 5-1. New York. I know it's at Jacksonville. Dude, that stinks. 42.5 is the over under there.
You have to take the Giants +3. That's the smart bet. I like Jacksonville too. If Jacksonville was -3.5, I would take Jacksonville.
You take Jacksonville.
But I like listen, I watch a lot of Giants football, obviously, and I get the insight, inside information from my co-host. Shout out to the best co-host in the world. But that Giants team is really good, and they're only getting better. That's the scary part. They still haven't really, they look at their wide receivers. Their wide receivers.
You make the case.
Nothing. But they're still playing very well. Listen, if you give me a 5-1 team against a team like Jacksonville and you're giving me 3 points all day long, take that bet.
Well,
what's the over under?
42 and a hook.
I will take the under.
You convinced me. Timmy, you've convinced me, man. When I go to the barbershop, all I tell them is give me a number 2, give me a number 1. Fade. I'm fading you here. Give me Jacksonville. Give me Jacksonville. I'll take the points. I'll take Jacksonville money line on it. That stinks. That line stinks to me. That thing reeks. So I'm Vegas knows something. Vegas knows something. It's
they're hoping for the letdown game.
That's what
they're hoping for.
That's what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm thinking right there. I just that thing, that smell. I can smell that one all the way. I can smell that all the way from Vegas right now. Let's see here. We will go with. I like this game too. Atlanta is at Cincinnati. Bengals -6.5. 47.5 is the over under.
I'll take the over. I'll take Cincinnati to win, and I'll take Atlanta to cover.
Atlanta to cover, Cincy to win though. I liked it over. I always like over. So I think you and I are in agreement on all that all the way through though. But let's see here. Here's another one I like. Old boy genius is trying to avoid going under 500 for the first time in his career. Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins host Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Dolphins, who have lost what? They've lost 3 in a row now? 3 in a row?
Yeah.
-7 favorites over Pittsburgh, who just beat Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Over under set at 44 and a hook.
I will take the under because I think Mitch Trubisky is playing quarterback. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be out with the concussion. Tua's back. Still, I feel a little bit weird about taking Miami -7. So I'll take Miami to win, and I'll take Pittsburgh to cover, and I'll take the under.
I'll take Pittsburgh to cover in this one too. I don't like that 7 number staring at me, especially Tua coming back 3 games in a row. Pittsburgh, I mean, they played better ball as of late too, even with tiny hands at quarterback.
I wonder if that Pittsburgh beating Tampa Bay was more about Pittsburgh or was it more about Tampa Bay?
Fair. That's fair. They were coming unravel. But I don't know. Indianapolis. We just talked about these two teams. The battle and this is the last time these two teams are going to play each other this year. Indianapolis at Tennessee, 3-2 against 3-2-1. Battle for first place in the South of the AFC. Titans, 2 and a hook favorites. Over under 43.5.
I don't understand how the Colts are 3-2-1. They're horrible. Give me Tennessee. Give me Tennessee to cover. What'd you say the over under was in this game?
Mm-hmm.
What's the over under? What's the number?
43 and a hook. Huh.
Give me the under. Tennessee to cover. Tennessee to win.
Tennessee, I like that too. I'm all over that one as I'm in the Tennessee market. Baltimore, Lamar and company. After that big loss against your New York Giants, 3-3, they host the Cleveland Browns 2-4, 6.5 point favorites, 45.5. The over/under is set.
I'll take the over. I'll take Baltimore to win. I'll take Baltimore to cover.
I think I like. I don't think Baltimore covers in this one though. I really don't.
You think D-Jack plays in this game?
If he does, heaven help them. heaven help them. They're in bigger trouble. They're in better straits water than they're letting on. Yeah, I don't like it, but I'll take I'll take the Ravens in that one. I think this would be an over game as well. But Cleveland, and let's take I will do one last one. Rematch of the Super Bowl from a few years ago. San Francisco 3-3. They are against Kansas City. Is this at San Francisco? I think this is at San Francisco.
It's in San Fran, yeah.
Yep. Chiefs -3. Over under set at 48.5. What do you think?
I'll take the under, and I'll take Kansas City to cover and win outright.
I like Kansas City in this one. Like them to win. Like them to cover. I like the over though. In this one, I think this will be a high scoring affair. I just don't think Kansas City can stop anybody, but they can score enough for it in that one. And what kind of San Francisco team are you going to get this time around too? But yeah, Washington, our guys play Green Bay. Hopefully we can get a win. Taylor Heineke, we hope. Run the ball, all this good stuff. And defense, can we just get a stop? Just get a stop, man. Aaron Rodgers has only turned the ball over against us once. And I think 6 games he's played against us.
That's a nugget. I didn't know that. That's a good one.
16-1. He's thrown 16 touchdowns compared to 1 interception against the football team, the Redskins, and not just yet, the Commanders. So, I mean, and I think when did he throw that interception? Was it last year he threw that interception? I don't know, but these ain't. He's had some good games against us. He's had some bad games against us. No, you know who he threw the interception against? He didn't even throw it in regulation, Tim. He threw it against LaRon Landry.
Oh.
That's who it was.
Big neck.
Wow. That's good. I just pulled that one. I wasn't even looking at anything. I just really pulled that one. Obscure facts. I don't know why I know it, but damn. That one's money. That might get clipped off because I don't have too many clippable moments, but that one's gonna get clipped off. Tim, tell the folks where they can find you, brother.
You guys can find us on YouTube at Authentic in the Beard, right down there, spelled just like it is. We are generally live. I believe we're doing like four live shows a week now. So we've been working on some more content. We're getting close. We're climbing. We're growing. But we got a really cool group of people that come over and hang out with us. So it's a NFC East centric show. So we do talk about Giants, Washington, a little bit less Dallas and Philly because I'm a Washington fan. And my co-host, best co-host in the world, Authentic, is a New York Giants fan. So it's really interesting because a lot of times you get into these interactions with a lot of fan bases and it's just you suck and this and that. There's a lot of really like good conversation that goes on with some of these fans from other fan bases, and it's really insightful because a lot of times we play common opponents, so it's kind of like an early sort of interesting way of scouting our future opponents. So we love doing it. It's give me 1 second.
Oh Lordy, the camera, the camera. The fancy cameras that y'all use, I tell you one thing about y'all have the cleanest look of anybody that's doing it. I swear y'all do the camera that y'all got, because I know y'all do those from regular digital cameras, correct? Like that's what you're on right now. And
we got big shout out to Authentic, you know what I'm saying? He's that's what he does. He does everything video, everything audio. He's just a super talented dude. So we got together. We've known each other since we were in 3rd grade. So we go way, 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 way back. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, we put in a lot of work, man. And the graphics department is
lit.
So we always refer to these departments, but in reality, we are the departments. So it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and it's totally worth it to just be able to chop it up about football. Win, lose, or tie. You know what I'm saying? There's and listen, we're a Washington fans, so there's always a story. But yeah, we'll be live tomorrow night at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys come check us out. You can find me on Twitter. I'm trying to build up my Twitter
Follow
love.
him, yo.
You know what I'm saying? So like, find me on Twitter. It's Tim Walk on Water and the number 2. There you go. Because my original Walk on Water account was from before half of y'all even were old enough to get a Twitter account, and I couldn't find a password, so I had to make a whole new account. But yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get you too. Tim is an antiquer too, and you can go find him. He's got his own channel and stuff also. So if you're into antiques, I know we've got a lot of people on here that are into that. Go check him out. He's always showing some of his finds and stuff, and you found some crazy stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah,
and yeah,
I do a lot of sports memorabilia too, which is awesome. You know, you can see over there on my shelf that's a autographed Terry McLaurin helmet. Next to that is an autographed Chase Young football. Like right here on right now on my floor, I got an autographed Albert Pujols bat. Got an autographed Marshall Falk helmet right here. I got an autographed Ricky Henderson baseball. I got jerseys. I got all types of stuff. So yeah, so I do the sports memorabilia also. Yeah, that's the thing. Come on Thursday night, man, because I've been trying to give away. We do giveaways every Thursday night, and Giants fans keep winning all the giveaways. So I'm like trying to give away some Washington stuff, but I need some more Washington fans to
I'm
come
be in
over.
there. I'm gonna be on there.
I might give away an autographed Logan Thomas Virginia Tech mini helmet on tomorrow. If a Washington Commanders fan can win, I might give that away tomorrow night just to kind of spice things up a little bit. Last week, we gave away a 1930s leather football helmet worth over $100 and a vintage New York Giants pennant. Like no face mask on the helmet, vintage pennant. So go with the helmet. Awesome. So yeah, so it's super awesome. So we're always just, doing whatever we can to kind of give back to the community, have fun, and just really open-minded football and the way we look at things. It's not like we're always trying to look at it from a football fan perspective. Some people are always like, oh, well, how can you talk all this good stuff about Jalen Hurts? Because I've been saying Jalen Hurts is a damn good quarterback since he got drafted, and nobody wanted to believe me. And now look at him, So I look at football 41.
Thank you for the super chat, Paul. Damn. Oh man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man, and it would be awesome if I could get you guys to come over and hang out every once in a while, because Paulie being there holding it down for Washington. Yeah, man. Be about the only one over there. But no, the Giants fans are super awesome. They actually, there's a few of them that will root for the Commanders just because of the beard. So, unless obviously we're playing them or they need us to lose. But
yeah, I can mess with Giants fans. I ain't gonna lie. It's them pigeons and them stars. I can't stand. And this. We can wrap up now. Now we got a vent. We got a vent. Say you growing up in DC, me growing up in Nova, the Dallas Cowboy fans, and they all are the same. Like when I think of delusion, I think of DC Cowboy fans. That's exactly what I think of. Because if you ever meet a Cowboy fan from Texas, they're a little bit more down to earth than these DC Cowboy fans. I
guess it's because they're in DC, so they kind of have to be. It's like I saw an interesting story about how that transition happened. I need to rewatch that and put some people onto it because it was super interesting. There's a lot of political stuff that goes into what drove a lot of fans to become Cowboys fans. And then you have like the fans from like our generation that were like 90s because the Cowboys were
ignorant Bamas. Yeah, that's about it.
So that's kind of how that happened. But my sister growing up, there's pictures of her in Washington gear when she was like a little girl when we were at like RFK, and now, when she turned into middle school and high school, she ended up becoming a Cowboys fan. Authentic's brother is a Cowboys fan.
Oh my gosh!
So we're right here in the mix in DC with those DC Cowboys fans, even in our bloodline.
That's a wild story because, and just to touch on it, not too much, because my mom told me this story. It's because a lot of these majority of the Cowboy fans in the area, blacks, black folks, and they were, because Washington didn't have any black players in the 60s. Dallas had these, and they would come in there and they would usually beat the Redskins too. Like, I mean, let's be honest with you. You had all these old guys like Drew Pearson and company out there, and they come out there winning games. They look clean. They just had this vibrato about them, like they say. And Mark Holmes has told this story on his channel too, about like they didn't have anything because their parents, his dad was a big Cowboys fan because the Redskins didn't want black players, and that's how it came to be, legitimately. So if you go and ask them, but it's interesting. Shannon Sharp has told that story before. So I mean, one thing about Washington is we do not have a history with good owners. George Preston Marshall, Dan Snyder. I mean, old man Cook was meddlesome, but this what it. I mean, you should just.
Cheers to the future,
Here's to the future. Yes, indeedy, sir. Yes, cheers to the future. Cheers to you. You guys check out Authentic in the Beard. They're gonna be on Thursday. Let's go up in there. Let's flood it. Burgundy and gold people. I'm gonna be up in there because I really, because I love. It's a vibe, y'all. Like this, it's not just talking football. Their channel is a legitimate vibe, and I love it. What are y'all? 2,500? Is that right?
Yes, I'm around there.
2,500. They're on their way to 3,000. They do it. They grind. They have one of the best productions. I can't stress that anymore. Best production out there of anybody on YouTube, and I'll put it up against anybody in this content creator world that we have. So y'all go and make sure you follow them on Twitter and stuff. Shout out to Paulie. I'm sorry that I called you out and compared you to Dan Snyder, but it's true. Just like Dan, you don't know when to stop, and it was a great day too because I had that call allowed me to get a follow from the Rooster. Shout out Chris Russell. We follow each other on Twitter now. But Tim, appreciate.
Paulie's a man. Let's just say it like it is.
No, we don't. I always got nothing but love.
I always got nothing but love for Paulie, man. Shout out Paulie.
Yeah, hey, we'll have our we'll have our therapist session too. He's still one of my clients. So, but anyway, Tim, appreciate you, brother, coming on here. Y'all make sure you check him out. We'll be back Sunday, 12:30 pregame. We go right into the game against the Packers. Be here for the Ron Rivera press conference, and let's get this win, man. We keep that same damn energy, whether it's up, down, left, right, win, lose, or tie. We keep the same damn energy so we can outlast them bastards, and hopefully we get a miracle. Go Taylor Heineke. Hope. Heineke! We got it going on, y'all. But till next time, y'all. Say Child's 405. Love, peace, and hell. Somebody please get my damn theme music so we can get the hell up out of here. There it is right there. We out, y'all. Thank you. We love you.